fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to Arbitration. This is attempt number 50 to do this episode. Something's wrong with my laptop, and this thing is screwing up. Something awful. And so I'm going to try it again. This may be the last time. If I don't get it this time, I'm going to bed. We'll just do a Monday episode. But I don't have that much to do. Just got a couple of things, but damn. I want to go over those couple of arbitrations I did a few weeks ago. Talk about the arguments that we're missing. Very simple arguments that are catastrophic to management's discipline. Catastrophic, and we're missing those arguments. Very easy arguments. And now both the formal A's were fantastic in those cases. They made some outstanding arguments, did a lot of great investigation on both of them. And but the charges are bad. And so I'll go over those. I'm going to go over this joint statement type stuff. We're going to fine tune some things. Like I said, we're going after management this year. We're not going to sit back and take all this shit they're doing to us. Now, our leaders are. They're taking this shit, and we're not going to down here on this floor. All right? We're going to stay lions down here on this floor, and we'll let them back into the room ass first like they do. We're not going to do that here. We're going to go chest first whenever we walk into a room with anybody that we're meeting. In arbitration, in joint meetings, labor management meetings, we're going to walk into the room chest first. We're going to be the alphas when we go in these meetings, okay? That is not right now. They're walking in bent over, ass first. First thing that comes through the door is their ass. And management is having at it with these fools at the top. But we'll talk about that in just a second. Got a few things I want to talk about. Somebody sent me something. Want to address this, the first part. And he said it was a Renfro crony, which I don't know why they would be after me. Hell, I'm a nice guy. But he asked how much we have raised for MDA on the podcast, and I'm going to take it he meant by the shirt sales. We had the initial money we put out for the disaster relief for Hawaii. If you look in the postal record, it's in there. Okay, and I don't remember how much that was, but that's how much we'd collected at the time. We put all that in the disaster relief fund for Hawaii. Whatever we have now, I don't know, because I don't deal with that money. I don't deal with the shirt sales. I have nothing to do with it. That's a nonprofit that we put together. There's a committee that does all that. And so this person said that he had a guy run around saying that I was keeping the money, $5 from the shirt sale per shirt. I was keeping that. I assure you, I've not kept one penny from one shirt sale. And that's funny because, you know, when I started this, I said, I'm not going to ask for any money, period. I'm not going to ask for money to do this. I pay $30 a month to do it. I'm not going to ask for any money. I started this shirt sale, so I'm not going to keep any money for myself. I'm going to contribute everything to MDA. Now, we changed course when that disaster hit Hawaii, and we decided to send it there, but I'm not going to keep any money from the shirt sales, and you still got motherfuckers out there saying, I'm keeping the money. Those people are called dumbass bitches. And so I assure you, I've not kept a penny from one shirt sale. That goes through a committee, and that's the nonprofit part of it. A committee handles all that, and I have no part of it. I don't know how much we make. I don't know how many shirts we've sold unless I ask. But we're doing well, though. We're doing well. Now, we do make about $5 per shirt. So maybe that's where that fool got that from, but I have not kept a penny of those shirt sales, I assure you. And then he said that that they talk about I'm just another noble. and it reminded me of the old saying that lions don't concern themselves with the opinion of sheep, right? Anybody that has anything negative to say about me, usually I'll put it on here because I laugh at it, but lions don't concern themselves with the opinion of sheep. Lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. And I do lion type shit. That's all I've done. I've done lion type shit on the workroom floor. I've done lion type shit into formal step A, and I do lion type shit at arbitration. And I don't concern myself with motherfuckers who sit in the bleachers talking about me on the field. That's just something that will never bother me. You always have hecklers, and they sit in the bleachers because they can't do lion type shit. And that's what I do, is lion type shit. Some of my favorite sayings talking about lions, when you look it up, I talk about lions here. Usually I put up pictures about lions on from Arbitration, the Facebook page, because I think they exemplify what we should be, what our leaders should be, what we should be at every level. We should be lions amongst sheep, right? And people that heckle and talk about us are sheep. They are sheep heckling at lions. Here's a saying I love: I'm a lion, and I refuse to talk, to walk, to sleep with the sheep. I will not hear those who weep and complain, for their disease is contagious. Let them join the sheep. The slaughterhouse of failure is not my destiny. And I love that, because I don't concern myself with sheep. Like I said, I do lion type shit. This podcast is lion type shit, right? I put myself out there every week. My opinions, some people don't agree with them. My passions, some people think it's too much. My education, some people don't agree with that. That's okay. Because like I said, lions don't concern themselves with the opinion of sheep. Here's my favorite one, and you're going to know why. An army of sheep led by a lion is better than an army of lions led by a sheep. And that's our union right now. We are an army of lions down here. And I see it every week. I see it. Every week I see lions doing lion type shit. And we're led by a sheep. And that's just the fucking way it is. We are led by a fucking sheep. People send me contentions all the time. Lion type shit. I had a guy just send me a 14-day suspension he worked up. Lion type shit. People are getting in there and getting it done. I see contentions all the time that people send to me, and we look over them together. We talk about it. Lion type shit. That's what I'm about. And so when people send me things saying, this person said this person said that, we'll laugh together. I do not concern myself with it. I know what I do. I know what I've done. I know where I've came from. And so I will continue to do lion type shit. And I will not concern myself with those sheep who heckle and wail and weep because they can't do lion type shit. So anyway, I appreciate that guy sent me that. I thought that was funny. But no, I don't take any money. I've never received a penny from shirt sales. Like I said, I have nothing to do with that. And that's on purpose. I don't have anything to do with the shirt sales. I love that shirt sales are doing well. I like that. I like that a lot. And I hope Boston is full of them to let people know we've got lions amongst us. And that's what I like. I want to know when I look around, I can trust these motherfuckers here because they're lions. They're not sheep. They're not little bitches on the workroom floor talking. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is every time, right? When I educate and the things that I say, things that I do. I tell you that there's a new ticket coming up. That's going to be probably the strongest ticket ever put forward. That's lion type shit. And I'll back that up when this ticket comes out. It will be the strongest ticket maybe we've ever had. And that's not me blowing smoke. That's not me bloviating. I'm telling you, we're going to have people that put city letter carriers first on this ticket. And I'm talking about monstrous type individuals that I've talked to personally. Monstrous type individuals. And you'll see what I'm saying. I don't come on here and talk cash shit if I can't back it up. and I'm going to back that shit up. We've got monsters stepping up that are sick of the way this thing is going. Anybody that's not sucking this motherfucker's ass at the top is sick of the way this shit is going. They just are. It didn't just start with these memos, okay? I think that was, looking back over our history, the dumbest thing ever signed, because you opened Pandora's box, like I've said over and over again. But it was foolish at best, devastating at worst, and we're paying for it, continue to pay for it. But it's just so much more than that will come out later, okay? So much more than that will come out later. Talking about TRAP and stuff, a couple of people have sent me things, and I want to talk about it because they send me their concerns and they want y'all to know, and that's what I'm going to do, all right? These people, they want to remain anonymous, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Believe it or not. Like I say when I'm in arbitration, if management says they got somebody anonymous, I can't cross-examine anonymous. Right? So when they come in there and they say, we got a statement from anonymous, I'm going to object to that because I can't cross-examine anonymous. Had that the other day with the OIG. I can't cross-examine anonymous. That's a violation to me of my due process because I should be able to face my accuser. And if you come in there saying somebody anonymously did something, I'm going to say, hey, I can't cross-examine that. But here, you just got to take my word for it. They want to remain anonymous, and that's exactly what's going to happen. If you tell me you want to remain anonymous, baby, you'll remain anonymous. This individual just said, I'm currently on a REIT team for TRAP. The hour office time management is pushing is killing us in adjustments. Seeing carriers clock to the street early at roughly an hour, putting them at 10 to 40 minutes under standard, and then having management fight them on having a 90-minute load time. They don't want to put that time back in an office. I'm convinced this is on purpose. Did y'all hear me? Now, here's the REIT team people telling y'all. Now, my president keeps getting up and saying, hey, I have faith, I trust in the process. In some places, like I said, it's okay. But some places are like this. It's completely fucked up. Okay? It's completely fucked up. And this individual said, I'll read again. I'm currently on a REIT team for TRAP. The hour office time management is pushing is killing us in adjustments. Clock to the street early at roughly an hour, putting them at 10 to 40 minutes under standard, and then having management fight them on having a 90-minute load time. They don't want to put that time back in an office. I'm convinced this is on purpose. Absolutely, it's on purpose. 100%. These are the metrics that they're talking about. I had somebody else send me some more screenshots that I'll read to you. These metrics that they've come up with, hey, it's gold to them. It's absolute gold to them, what they're doing, okay? It's not by mistake, and we have no answers at the top, none. Business agents don't have any answers. They're not doing shit about it, most of them. You got some that will, but we're getting run over right now, and it's all because of these memos. Like I said, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to us, and I'm not just saying that. Based off of what I've done since 2006, based off of what I've done since I've been delivering mail from 92, based off of what I've done, this is the worst thing because we've agreed to it by our signature from the very top. And so, it's Katie bar the door right now. Here's another person wants to remain anonymous, and I said, absolutely. And they said assigned LOCs used to be in office, union, and local management working to fix routes. Now EAS LOC is assigned by district, most likely someone who has never set foot in the office or even knows where the office is, probably to throw a monkey wrench into things. 2, district is trying to micromanage the local management now and are up to shady shit. Having a strong union reap allows us to catch this stuff before a live week and put a stop to much of it. As REIT, it's our inspection, not districts. If we catch wind of some foul shit, we'll put a stop to it and say we don't proceed until you correct what you fucked up. We'll tell them. will stay in a nuisance to your daily operation until you cooperate with both REAP members and abide by the TRAP process. Pray that management never gets access to the DSR program. It's very detailed and would be a huge roadblock for us. Here's another thing. Just had an initial consultation with a group of carriers with our REAP team. The NELC rep just told the carriers we just use the closest bathroom, and if we go to a different one because closest isn't clean, then we must have a supervisor come out and verify that it's dirty. She said we should not be watching an episode of Friends during relays and that we cannot coast in between boxes on mounted, that it's time wasting to not use the gas pedal. What the actual fuck? And that's what I was telling you about last week, is that some places in this country are going fine. Some of them are doing well. Some of them, for some reason, the union person is worse than management. I don't know whether they think it looks cool to be like this stupid ass shit in front of management, but some places the union person is worse than management. And those people need to be kicked the fuck off the REAP teams. They need to be kicked the fuck off. But like in my region, you go to district, they don't do shit. You go to the business agent, they're too busy kissing each other's ass down there in that office. The regional REAP person, he's like, oh, is that right? Really? What? Fuck. Somebody make a fucking decision. And my branch is getting run the fuck over. If it wasn't for my president, we would be run over. But she's kicking motherfuckers' asses. But, if y'all's region's like mine, where they're complacent, what the fuck do you do? And so, but first off, it should never come to this. But secondly, you need to have people in positions that will fire motherfuckers from their jobs on the REAP. And we don't have that. We don't have that. And that's what you have when you get this. I see a lot of people on social media that are just getting destroyed right now off this REAP shit, off the TRAP shit. And so, hopefully it was worth it. Like I said, hopefully it was worth it with these memos. We made some progress initially, but management now has lost their fucking minds on us, and they're kicking the shit out of us. But anyway, I want to talk about that. I know that there's more rap sessions and COPs going on, and they're highly volatile. I've heard some recordings that are being put out about presidents and things going at it with our president, and they're not happy, and they're upset the way things are going, and I don't blame them. I do not blame them. And it's getting quite volatile. A lot of F-bombs being thrown around. I don't know why people say the F word like that, but fuck. I mean, it's, but it's getting volatile. Presidents have had it with this shit, and they are speaking up and showing out. And good for them. Good for them. Man, we've had it down here. We're getting run the fuck over and no answers. And you'll have a lot of people on social media defending this shit. Some of them are trying to get positions at nationals, so they want to show their boss, hey, look, boss, I'm kissing your ass. I'm kissing your ass. Look at what I'm saying. They're dumbasses. If you think shit's going good, you're foolish. And you've been fooled. But presidents are up in arms right now with the way things are going. And these meetings are getting quite hostile. And I don't blame you. I do not blame you. And good for you for standing the fuck up for the only thing that matters, the city letter carrier. That's it. That is it. Nothing else matters but city letter carriers. And so that's why I say when this new ticket comes in, we're going to have people that are interested in one thing and one thing only, city letter carrier. And we don't have that right now. We just don't. I heard some other stuff that pissed me the fuck off, man. That pissed me the fuck off this past week. And it irked the shit out of me. But so, I had the Memphis mini-series, and I'm going to try not to get too angry right here. because I'll just tell you, shit. Management attempts to vacate the decision, right? The one I read to y'all, the Memphis miniseries. Management attempts to vacate it. And so this is what I'm talking about, lions led by sheep. This is what I'm talking about. Down here, we did lion-type shit on this case, right? Spent a lot of time, and y'all saw the effort put forward in the arbitration. Y'all heard that. A lot of time down here getting this together. They sent a team in for a week. The business agents always did for a week, coming up with these things, the B-team decisions, the contentions and stuff. Jay did a pretty good job at the formal. Then we get in there in arbitration, and we start dissecting shit. A lot of time and effort put into that because why? Because of our brothers and sisters down in Memphis that have had a history of a toxic working environment that's been promoted and condoned by management, right? And so we finally get a decision of a lifetime. There's not another arbitrator in the country that would have awarded us that besides arbitrator Swallow. He's the only one that would have gone after a district manager. I'm convinced of that. Even our best back in the day wouldn't have touched that. But here's a guy that said, I'm going to do what's right by the carriers based off of this file, off the history. Something has to be done. Management's not doing it. And so, devastating decision. So management wants to vacate it, right? And so last week, the parties get together and they amend it. The NALC and labor, they amend the decision at the highest level. Well, almost at the highest level. And so they amend it and they do away with this committee. Where he says this outside person is going to come in. They're going to have this committee. Well, they sign off together. They're going to do away with this committee, right? Now, this is shit I'm hearing. Labor called me, the advocate, and he had asked if I'd heard anything about it. And I said, no. I said, can you send me the decision? Well, the position I am, I can't send it to you. You'll have to get it from your people. So I reach out to my business agent, to Jay, and to another RAA down there, and I said, hey, can I get a hold of that amended decision? I want to see it. Never hear from them. They never respond. Now, I'm the advocate for this motherfucker now, right? I spent a lot of my life memorizing this 1,300-page file, and 2 straight days of sitting on my ass in that hearing, fucking with this thing. And these motherfuckers ain't got the common courtesy to send me the fucking amended decision. Don't even respond. So later on, I said, hey, not everybody all at once. And at the end of the day, I get a message back that says, okay. So that's how these motherfuckers are going to do down there, which is fine. Like I said, lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. There are people that's going to be packing their shit in a couple of years when I become business agent, packing their fucking shit. Because you do not fuck over city letter carriers, and you damn sure don't fuck over me. I was the advocate for that motherfucker. But anyway, I also heard this, that labor did not like this arbitrator's decision, and they did not like him. And so jointly, the NALC and labor call this guy and fire him. They fire this arbitrator that did that. Now, I heard that, and that's a fact. The bad thing is the motherfucker that did all the talking was on our side, NALC. He's the one who fired him. Labor said very little. He's the one who fired him. That motherfucker should lose his job. You don't humiliate somebody like that. You do not humiliate somebody like that. You chicken shit son of a bitch, you. And you know exactly who I'm talking about. And if you got any problems with that, baby, I will be in Boston. Come address it. Come address me. Hey, you don't embarrass people like that. You sorry, low-down son of a bitch. That shit right there is inexcusable to embarrass somebody that did something that no other arbitrator would do. No other arbitrator in this country would do what he did. I don't know this guy. I just know that I had an arbitrator listen to what we put in front of him and made one of the toughest decisions I've ever seen, removing a district manager and 3 other managers. That has never happened before in the history of grievance arbitration process. And somebody on our side jointly calls this man and fires him, humiliates this guy in front of labor. That's a sorry piece of shit right there, man. You put up more fight to an arbitrator than you will to these motherfuckers. You don't do shit to management. I heard labor's punking his ass out too about the DRT, about the B teams. Telling him that we're not going to do cease and desist anymore in front of this motherfucker now. Telling another guy for the union in front of this motherfucker, hey, we'll just pull out of the B team. We'll just pull out of it. Not a peep from this sheep that's up at the top. The one who called the arbitrator and fired him. Not a peep. When I tell you that we are lions down here run by sheep, that's what I'm talking about. Anytime you got a guy that will get in the union's ass more than he does management, that's a sheep. That's a sheep. It's the same motherfucker who went into the CAU about me. If y'all are getting stuff to formal arbitration and getting stuff to court, you're fired. It's that same motherfucker. And so that bitch ass is in the wrong fucking job. I'll tell you that. That shit shouldn't be tolerated, man. To fire an arbitrator in front of labor, somebody who went above and beyond to help your people in Memphis, to do that, bitch ass. That's what you are, man. Bitch ass. You know my number. Call me. Call me. Come see me. I'll be in Boston, motherfucker. That's exactly what you are. I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to do that at all. But it's just, that ran all over me, man. That ran all over me to hear that. But, labor's laughing at that shit. The guy who called me, told me that he got fired and that he couldn't give me the decision, because it's not his place. He's, because of my position, I can't give it to you. You have to get it from the union. Then call the message union. Them motherfuckers just, crickets. But, man, we've gone the wrong way somehow. We have gone the wrong way somehow. And, God, we can't get this new regime in here. I say this every fucking week, but we can't get them in here fast enough. But I'll tell you what, when y'all see the ticket, juggernauts. When you see the ticket, lions. When you see the ticket, beasts, okay? It's not these punk asses that we have in there now at the top. Now, you got some, like I said, you got some straight dogs in there on that ticket, but those at the top, I wouldn't give you a fucking penny for either one of them motherfuckers. And, but that's just me though, man. You have a guy make a decision like that tries to save my people. That's what he did with that decision, tried to save my people. And your little punk ass gonna call and fire him in front of labor? All right, let's get into these arbitrations I was talking about. I tell y'all, man, I tell you, down here I do line type shit. And I've always tried to do that. I have never backed up to anybody. Any meeting that I'm in, I'm wanting to be the alpha in that son of a bitch. Because I'm in there for one reason only, for my people, for my carriers, right? Always listen to me, everybody that listens to this, unless you're in management or unless you're an arbitrator that listens to it. Always do line type shit, all right? Always do line type shit. Don't be sheep. Do not be sheep. Don't do it. Always carry yourself like that. When you walk into a room, chest first. That's what they should see walking through that door first. Chest first. We're going to come into that room to dominate that son of a bitch, and I don't care what level, informal, formal, DRT, arbitration, at every level, walk into that room chest first. Don't walk in there like our leaders do, bent over ass first. And that's exactly what they do. And to fire somebody like that is bent over and taking it from management because you're a bitch ass. That's all I'm going to say. That's much too much. I normally don't apologize for shit, and I'm not going to do it now. But that ran all over me, man. That ran all over me, son. Somebody did something now that nobody would do. This has been going on since the 90s. That was in the file. As many times as it's gone to arbitration, as many times as it's gone to the B team, as many times as it's gone in front of management. And this guy says, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a final resolution to an ongoing problem. That's what he said. I'm going to make a final resolution to an ongoing problem. And I'm going to try to do my best to save the people in Memphis. And he got fired because labor doesn't like him. By us. All right, had 2 arbitrations a couple of weeks ago. And like I said, the case files were fantastic. Now, I'm telling you, in both of them, the Formal A's were amazing. The first one was a CCA that was removed on attendance-related issues, and they had progressive discipline now. That's tough. Anybody that's ever been in arbitration with those, that is a very difficult sell. Made a very good argument on, is the rule consistent and equitably enforced? Now, that argument was hammered. This Formal A did as good a job as I've ever seen. It's like 1,000 clock rings, and he showed, they got him for tardies. A lot of it was tardy. And he goes through all these clock rings and picks out every tardy. Every one of them. Not one carrier had been disciplined for tardies, right? This CCA was disciplined, was given a removal. Majority of it was tardies. And so this Formal A finds 388 tardies in this station. 388 tardies. That's hard to overcome when you talk about just cause, when you talk about the sub-questions of just cause. Just one of them, if we can show that they failed to meet just one of them, that discipline should fall, right? So we hung our hat on that a lot because that was such a great argument made. And this guy did a fantastic job, and I told him over and over again, he did a fantastic job. And there was a couple other things that he went through that was really good. But one thing we missed was the requesting and issuing supervisor was also the informal Step A representative, okay? The concurring official was also the formal Step A representative. Now, my laptop is stopping on me, so I'm having to go back and edit some of this stuff mid-episode. So my laptop keeps stopping, but the formal Step A was also the concurring official, all right? So what we have is the informal Step A representative was the requesting and issuing supervisor. The concurring official was also the formal Step A representative. So anytime we have that, we're going to say, hey, look, we have the arresting officers are also on the jury, right? That is almost an impossible thing for the grievant to overcome because at some point there needs to be some kind of neutrality. When you talk about the concurring official, there should be a fresh set of eyes on this concurrence, right? Somebody that's not been involved with the process. When you looked at the formal Step A statement, he says, hey, look, I've been involved with this guy since he got here. I've given him discussion after discussion. Now, this is the station manager, the postmaster. I've given him discussion after discussion, and so, he just doesn't care. Well, he's now going to concur on this discipline. There's no way there's a fresh set of eyes on that concurrence. In the arbitration, when I talk to those people, when I cross-examine those people, I will set both of them up. So when I talk to the informal Step A representative, first off, I called him lying. But anyway, I asked him, I said, when you requested this discipline, were you absolutely positive that Mr. So-and-so should be terminated, they're always going to answer yes on that. They will never say, no, I wasn't quite sure. They're always going to say, yes, I was positive. Now, when you requested this discipline, when you issued this discipline, were you still just as positive? Absolutely, I was. So you thought he should be terminated when you issued this removal? Yes. Yeah, he should have been. Okay. Not a doubt in your mind? No, not a doubt in my mind. All right. And management's advocate, they just asked you, was it an easy decision? And you said, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't an easy decision. And they asked you, was it the right decision? You said, yes, it was the right decision. Okay. You still feel that way today? Absolutely, I do. All right. So when you requested it, you felt that he should be terminated? Yes. When you issued the removal, you felt like he should be terminated? Yes. When you met at the informal step A, you felt that he should be terminated then? Yes. That's why I sent it up. All right. And here at this hearing today, you still feel that he should be terminated? Yes. Okay. What chance does this guy have with that? I did the same thing to the formal step A. The same thing. When you concurred, what'd you look at? All this stuff here. And you said in your statement that you've been involved with this, that you've given him discussion after discussion. Yeah. And you say that he just doesn't care. Yep. You feel that way, really? Yes, I do. And then you concurred on it. You felt like you made the right decision? Yes, I made the right decision. You felt like he should be terminated? Absolutely. You met at the formal age. You still feel the same way? You felt that you made the right decision? Yeah. I also noticed that you signed off on the notice of removal. Is that right? Yeah. When you signed off on the notice of removal, were you still just as sure that this gentleman should be terminated? Absolutely. Okay. You still feel that way today? I sure do. What chance does this guy have? And that's what I told the arbitrator. What chance does he have? Hell, he's got the judge, jury, and executioner right here in his own station. At no time did he have an independent, fresh set of eyes looking at that discipline. Those are arguments that we can make as long as we make them in the file. The B team made one sentence on it, and so I hung on to that. Now, management never objected, but hopefully the arbitrator will hang on to it. Then we had this case in another state, and it was a removal on a carrier that was getting gas. They said that he was getting gas in his personal vehicle with a Voyager card. And so they had this video. You really couldn't tell if it was him. The OIG was involved, and they say it appears to be him. It looks like it's him. It could be him. And this formula did a fantastic job on this one as well. One of the better jobs I've seen as far as researching different things. But we missed this argument here, and management's labor was all over me trying to get this argument in there. She objected strenuously that this was a new argument, and it was made at the B team, right? This arbitrator has already ruled, and she's putting in his decisions when she's objecting. You've already ruled on this in this case. You've already ruled on it in this case, that arguments made at the B team cannot be introduced for the first time at arbitration, and a lot of arbitrators are like that. B teams are not there to make new argument. They're there to support existing arguments. And a lot of arbitrators feel that way. And I'm a proponent of that. I believe that. I do that all the time to management. Because here in this district, 99% of arguments made will be by the B team. The informal and formal will make hardly any arguments. Most arguments will always be made at the B team. And I hate that. But in this case, I loved it because I needed it. But this one was one of the more egregious ones I've ever seen. And we missed it. And it is a killer to discipline. And I don't care what you've done. It kills discipline. And that's what I told the arbitrator in my closing. I said, look, at what point does this man's right to due process end? And there's the critical point we need to make. At what point does this grievance right to due process end? Does it end at the informal step A, Mr. Arbitrator? If it ends at the informal step A, then we may be in trouble here today. If his right to due process ends at the formal step A, we may be in trouble. We say that a grievance rights to due process never ends. It never ends. I keep that right with me all the way up through this arbitration hearing. I keep my right to due process. I also told him, I said it last week, I said, look, I don't care what he's done. I said, that may be him in that video. It may not be. I don't know. That's up to you. But looking at it, I can't tell. They had some other things that, try to prove that it was him. But I said, looking at the video, I said, it may be him. It may be. It may not be, But what quantum of proof is required for somebody who's been there 6 years, never been disciplined? What quantum of proof is it? If the quantum of proof is it might be, it could be, it probably is, we may be in trouble. If that's the quantum of proof required, it's probably him, well, damn, we're in trouble maybe. But I also said, if I'm out getting caught selling 900 pounds of cocaine out of the back of my LLV for the Medellin cartel, I said, I still have the right to due process. I still have the right to due process. And I have a decision, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite decision. And it's C01030. C01030. And it's arbitrator Renfro. And this is what he says. Every accused employee in an industrial democracy has the right of due process of law and the right to be heard before discipline is administered. These rights are precious to all free men and are not lightly or hastily to be disregarded or denied. The arbitrator is fully mindful of the company's need for equity in and right to require careful, safe, efficient performance by its employees, but before the company can discipline an employee for failure to meet said requirement, the company must take the pains to establish such failure. Then he goes on, it has been said that the real heart of procedural due process is not even a question of the employee's guilt or innocence. It is how the company goes about arriving at its decision. And that's what I read to the arbitrator. That's how important due process is. Due process of law is every accused employee's right. And that's what I read to him. Here we had one of the more substantial violations of due process I've ever seen. And it was with the concurring official. When I'm looking at the case file, I always go to management's first. I don't know how other advocates do it, but I go to management's position first. I always do that. And I start picking apart on a notepad what I see. Did they prove this? What are we looking at here? I go to the request for disciplinary action or the request for appropriate action where they send it to labor. Who is the issuing? Who is the requesting? That put their name down. I got the requesting. Who met at the informal? Are they the same? We're going to talk about some procedural due process right there, okay? Who's the concurring official? Did they meet at the formal or informal? I'm going to write that down. We're talking about procedural due process because sometimes we are guilty. Sometimes we are just guilty. And it's not about our guilt or innocence. It's about how the company came about that decision. And that's what we always must remember. It's not about me being guilty. It's about procedural due process. It's a right that I have. And did management violate my rights to due process during this grievance procedure? During their investigation, did they do that? During their issuance, did they violate my rights to due process? Everybody has it. Everybody has that right. And that's what we will emphasize over and over again. So when I get these case files and we're guilty as shit, what am I looking at? Major procedural due process violations. Some arbitrators will just sweep those under the rug. No harm, no foul. Some are too major to do that. Concurrence is one of those. The first three words, and this is what I told the arbitrator, the first three words of Article 16.8 are what? In no case. In no case. It didn't say in most cases or in some cases. It says in no case. This man right here is protected by that. He's protected. That shows the importance of the onus that they put on this Article 16.8, in no case. So here we had, I'm looking at the concurring official. I'll write her name down, okay? I've got the requesting official. Write her name down. If I can find any kind of problem with that, I'm going to raise that argument, okay? And in here, I had the concurring official. We'll say Jane Doe, okay? The OIG sends a copy of their report to 5 people, district manager, head of labor, blah, 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 and Jane Doe. Well, that raises some interest to me because now I've got Jane Doe having a copy of the OIG report before the concurrence because they haven't issued discipline yet, right? They're just not getting the report. So Jane Doe has gotten a copy of this OIG report. We're always looking for a fresh set of eyes, neutral set of eyes, right? That's what they always say. Discipline should be concurred on. It should be a substantive review of the information at the time, a fresh set of eyes, right? So now it's kind of tainted to me because I've got an OIG report that was given to the concurring official, right? So I'm reading the OIG's report, and they say that they got this guy, they gave him his Garrity rights, and about halfway through questioning him, he gets up and walks out, which is his right under Garrity. In Garrity, I can leave at any time. I don't even have to sit down. I can leave at any time. They always make a big deal of it, and they tried to in this case, but I took the OIG to the Garrity rights, and I read them to him. I said, so he was within his rights to get up and walk out. And he said, yeah, he can walk out at any time. I said, is that what he did? Yeah, okay, so let's not make a big deal of something I'm doing that I have the right to do. You can make an inference all you want to, a negative inference all you want to. I did something I have the right to do, okay? So anyway, it says that he walks out. Well, they leave that meeting, and they go to this concurring official, Jane Doe, okay? So they send her report. They go to her. They show her the video, and she says, it appears to be him. And it says she put him on emergency placement. Now, I had to get the OIG. I caught him lying too. He acknowledged that wasn't true. But so it says that they took her the video. They showed her everything that they had, the receipts and everything that they had, and she said it appears to be him. Now we're really tainting the well of this discipline, right? We're poisoning the well of this discipline, as we would say. Because I've got the concurring official, she's involved now. Then there's a statement from Jane Doe. After this, she goes out to the gas station on her own, asking the clerk for the receipts on those days. Because they have the car, you can't really make out the car, you definitely can't make out the license plate. What appears to be a tall, slender black man with light-colored pants and light shirt. So they're saying that could be him, maybe him, okay? And so she wants the receipt. So now she's actively involved in the investigation. She goes back with one of the OIG agents, okay? And they're asking there's a time difference on the video. They're asking about that. She goes back again with another OIG agent looking for these receipts, can't get them. So she's actively involved in the investigation, okay? She goes to the desk. This carrier says, hey, I keep my card in my desk all the time with the PIN number to it. So she goes to the desk, his case with a janitor and a clerk. Look in there, there's no card. She's actively involved in the investigation, okay? Then she gets this and she concurs on it. Then she meets at the informal step A. Okay? I've got a major procedural due process violation that we missed. Now, the B team raised a huge argument for us on it. A huge argument. And that's where management's labor advocate went off, handing him decision after decision. Okay? And he's agreeing with her. Yeah, these arguments are I never allow these arguments to go forward. He said, I've noted your objection, but I will allow him to continue questioning. Okay? So when I get the concurring official up there, I just lead her along that path. And she gladly walks with me hand in hand. Okay? I don't tear her up at all. You know, I always say I go after them. Here, I want her to grab my hand, to grab my arm. We're going to walk down the street together. Me and her, we're going to be singing songs. And she's going to be my best friend, right? And so I'm going through making sure that she tells us how good of an investigation she does because she's proud of it. And so I tell her, I said, now you got the OIG report, right? He comes to you and he shows you the report. That's right. And you got to look at the video? I got to look at it. Now, when you looked at the video, what were you thinking when you looked at it? It appeared to be him. I said, were you pretty sure it was him? She's like, oh, yeah, I was pretty sure it was him. I said, yeah. I said, I saw the video too. I said, so you're pretty sure it's him? Yeah. And so what else did you see? Well, they showed me the receipts on the reports they had showing that particular card was used. I said, did it show us PIN number as well? Yeah. And time of day? Yeah. And so you saw the video, yeah, and the time difference, that concern you don't? No, not really, because, basically I knew it was him. I said, okay. And then you also went out to the gas stations, what it looks like. Yeah, I went out there myself. Oh, okay. And I said, so you talked to the clerk? Yeah. So, but you couldn't get a statement from them, could you? No. I said, but then you went back with the OIG agent, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, what'd y'all do? Well, we did this and all this is in her statement. Okay. I said, and if I'm not mistaken, I said, I think you even went back again, didn't you? Yeah. I said, so you're being pretty thorough, don't you think? Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, she's walking right down the street with me, And so I question about everything. Go to her statement, talk about that. And I said, now we get to the concurrence. I said, you're the concurring official, right? It's right here on this page here, the request for appropriate action. I said, yes. I said, that's your signature. Yes. I said, so when we get the concurrence, I said, now, what do you do when you concur on your discipline? Well, I get everything, that's available to me. I said, okay. I said, so obviously you got the OIG report. Yeah. I said, now they mailed you that, right? There's a copy that was given to you. Yeah, I got a copy of that. I said, okay. So you already knew basically what you was dealing with. Yeah. And you got the video. You've already seen that, right? Yep. I said, and then you got your reports where you went out there to the gas station, right? Yeah. And so you've gotten all this. So when you get it, you're pretty sure, that this is him. Oh, yeah. I said, because you've gotten your investigation. The supervisor did the investigative interview, right? Yeah. Okay. So you concurred on it. Yep. I said, were you sure when you concurred on it? Same thing I did here in the other case, Were you positive it was him? Yeah. Yeah, I'm positive. I said, you feel like y'all did a pretty thorough investigation, do you? Yep. I said, okay. I said, you feel like you met just cause on that? Yeah. I said, thorough investigation is one of those, right? I said, you know those, right? Yeah. I said, okay. I said, you feel like you did a pretty good investigation before the concurrence? Oh, yeah. So she's just walking down the street with me, And I said, and then you met at the informal. Right. Okay. I said, now you're at the informal. I said, were you positive still that he should be terminated? Yes. Yes, I was. I said, there's some other things that happen too, but yeah, we missed that whole argument. And so I've got a decision for you, advocates. It's my favorite as far as this is concerned. It's C10679. 10679. C10679. It's arbitrator Nicholas Zuma. Z-U-M-A-S. Nicholas Zuma. All right? And it's on the very last page, the very last thing, number 3. And this is what he states. Arbitrator Aaron's admonition that parties to this agreement are barred from introducing evidence or arguments not presented during the various steps of the grievance procedure is a sound principle, but in this arbitrator's judgment is not applicable in this dispute. Here we have a glaring, substantive procedural violation of grievance due process rights. Such violation of a clear contractual right may be raised at any stage of the grievance procedure, including arbitration. And that's the first thing I handed the arbitrator in my closing. I said, arbitrator, you have ruled on this before as far as the B team, raising those arguments. And I had another decision about, because they were going to raise a threshold issue, but they didn't. And so I had a decision of his that talked about threshold issues, arbitrability issues can be raised at the arbitration for the first time. And I said, Mr. Arbitrator, I've got this case here. I just held it up to him. I didn't give it to him because it kind of went against this argument, but it was good for the other one. But I held it up. I said, you've already ruled on this before, Mr. Arbitrator, that certain arguments can be made at the first time at the hearing. And he's nodding at me. I said, you talk about threshold issues and arbitrability issues. Those things can be raised at the first time at arbitration, Mr. Arbitrator. And I said, and this is the same thing. And I handed him this decision and read it. I said, Arbitrator Zumas believes that logic. And he's nodding at me. So hopefully he bought it. If he didn't, we may be in some trouble. But it's those arguments. They're very easy, and you just have to make one sentence. And here's an arbitrator's decision. And here's a little handbook for you. It's Arbitrator Zach Morris. That could have been the arbitrator I was in front of. I don't know. Maybe. Arbitrator Zachary Morris. It's C36185. And I'm hoping y'all write these down and don't call me later on in the week, ask me what they were. C36185. 36185. And this is what he says on page 18. As I've stated before, Article 15 provides for an independent review of the discipline imposed at Step 2, and it is difficult to envision such an independent review being afforded the grievant when the person charged with independently reviewing that discipline is the one who issued it in the first place. Now, this is a little bit different, but we're talking about poisoning the well with how this process went about. I'm not the only arbitrator to hold such a view. The initiating official, the manager who discovered the piece of mail, was the same person that concurred in the removal. Additionally, that very same person was the employer's Step A official. The same manager initiated the action, concurred in the removal, and also acted as a Step A representative. This fact demands repetition. Talks about Arbitrator Lawrence Roberts. Now listen to this, y'all. Advocates, listen to this. Informals, listen to this. Formal Step A's. Even the Postal Service's own Supervisor's Guide to Handling Grievances, Handbook EL 921. EL 921 envisions the concurring official to be a separate person from the Step 2 designee. A situation may arise where the Step 2 formal Step A designee finds the discipline either unwarranted or too severe based on the facts and evidence presented at the Step 2 formal Step A discussion. If so, the Step 2 formal Step A designee should discuss the case with the reviewing authority and the supervisor involved before rendering a decision. Step 2 formal Step A designees must not handle grievances as though they were rubber stamping decisions that have already been made. And so that goes hand in hand with what we were talking about, and I had that decision with me. Here you have an individual that was involved during the entire investigation of this carrier, right? And then she concurs on that. That alone should kill the discipline. That alone should kill the discipline because that has tainted the well, poisoned the well of this discipline. When you have the concurring official also involved with any part of the investigation, and that's what we had. But then she turns around and meets at the informal, and there's a Bahakel decision that's absolutely brilliant as far as this is concerned. It's 28072. It's Bahakel. 28072. 28072. And she talks about the concurring official sitting in judgment of her own concurrence, sitting in judgment of the very discipline that she concurred on when they sit at either the informal or formal Step A. And I had that decision with me. Because here we have an individual that investigated it, concurred on it, and then sat in judgment of her own concurrence, the own discipline at the informal and formal. That is a procedural due process that they cannot overcome. But if he doesn't allow it in, we're in trouble. We're in trouble, okay? Also in this case, and here's another thing that we missed, and it was raised a little bit at the B team, but in the investigative interview, I always write down what provisions were asked about, and because I'm going to ask them, why'd you ask about this provision here? Well, it's to make them aware of the charges being brought against them. Okay. And so in the request for appropriate action, you have these same provisions. Is that right? Yes. Okay. We go over them here. You got these 4 here in the investigative interview, and you brought those 4 forward in the request for appropriate action. Why did you do that? Well, because they always want to know if the employee was made aware of the rule. Okay. And so you got concurrence on these rules. Yes. And so the concurring official agreed with you that these rules were violated. Yes. Then you go to the removal, and here's where we have a problem, because labor will always add their own. They will always add their own provisions. Now here, not one of them that was talked about in the investigative interview, not one of them that was in the request for action was on the removal notice. In the removal notice, they put a criminal statute in there, a prohibition against something. And y'all know how I feel about criminal statutes. I did an entire episode on it. I cannot be charged with violating a criminal statute because I have not been charged criminally. They'll put the 665 language in there. That does not apply because it says a conviction of any of the federal statutes as outlined in 662 could lead to discipline up to removal. Well, I've not been convicted. And I asked the OIG. I said, has this man been convicted? Well, we tried to charge him. I didn't ask you that. I asked you if this man has been convicted. No, he's not been convicted. Okay. And so in my closing, I said, he's not been convicted. He can't be charged with violating a criminal statute. They also put in there AS 709. Handbook AS 709. I've never heard of it. I had to look it up. And so AS 709 doesn't even apply to city letter carriers. It's PCs and postmasters. It talks about buying authority. They try to pull out a little excerpt about purchasing things on cards. And so when I looked it up, we can't violate AS 709. So I printed this 52-page pamphlet. I printed out 4 copies and took them with me. And so if I cannot violate something, I cannot be charged with it. And that's another argument that we missed. It was raised a little bit at the B team, so I was able to tell the arbitrator, hey, look, it's at the B team. He may not allow that in. However, the B team, the formal step A for management, they're going over his contentions. And in his contentions, he states that the grievant violated these things and has AS 709. So I'm going through his contentions. I said, you state that he violates AS 709. She objects. That's new argument. I said, not new argument, it's contention. So the arbitrator allowed me to keep going. And so I said, so you're saying that he violated AS 709? Yes. I said, are carriers covered under AS 709? Yes. I said, Mr. Arbitrator, I'm going to include AS 709 as Union Exhibit 1. I'm going to impeach that certain part of his testimony and his contentions. So he allowed me to put in the AS 709, and I'd highlighted it already where I wanted him to go to. And I said, let's go to page 1. I said, right here where it talks about those that are covered. I said, do you see city letter carriers? No. I said, then how is it possible that the city letter carrier can violate AS 709? I guess they can't. I have a removal notice that has charged me with violating something that I cannot violate. Do y'all think that that's important? I think it's terribly important. I think it's devastatingly important. That a removal notice has charged me with violating something that I cannot violate. I told y'all about the decision that I read last week about the charge. No different than the charge in court. It has to be accurate to be for just cause, like Arbitrator Wolitz said. We missed that as well. Another thing that we missed, when I talk about read everything, I'm talking about read everything. Read everything. The requesting official that requested the removal action, she writes a synopsis on there, and she states that the OIG questioned this carrier, and gave him his Garrity rights, and he walks out. Then they came out and they talked to me, and they showed me the video. And when they showed me the video, I put him on emergency placement. That was not the requesting official. That was the concurring official. And so when I see that, this is another thing that the advocate for management objected about. Because when I took her to that, I said, let's go to this request for appropriate action. I said, now, I asked the postal inspectors. They were the first. I said, now, who did you give this to? Because I see all this stuff in the file. Who did you give this to? These people here. I said, now, who did you talk to? Well, I talked to Jane Doe. Okay. I said, do you know a Miss So-and-so? No. I said, okay. I said, did you talk to her? No. Okay. Well, I know now that he did not talk to this requesting official. Okay. So I go to this request for action and I ask her, I said, did you talk with the postal inspectors? She's like, I don't know, I didn't. I said, well, let's go to this request for action. I said, let's read your synopsis. You state this. On this date, August 21st, OIG agents questioned city carrier so-and-so. Gave him his Garrity rights, and he ended up walking out. Then they talked to me and showed me a video. I said, ma'am, if the OIG never talked to you, how is it possible that you wrote on this request for action that they talked to you and showed you a video? She objected like hell, the advocate for them. That's a new argument. That's a new argument. I said, Mr. Arbitrator, it's not an argument. It's a question. I want to know. And he allowed it. And she looked at that damn thing for 20 minutes. I said, ma'am, I said, I just need an answer. I said, if you didn't talk to him, and you admitted you didn't talk to him, the OIG admitted that they didn't talk to you when I questioned them, how is it possible in this request for action you write down that you talked to them and they showed you a video? It was the postmaster did it. I said, man, that's not what you state. You state clearly the OIG did. I said, ma'am, is that not right? She said, no, it's not right. I said, let's go to the removal. I said, did you write the same thing on the removal? Yes, I did. I said, that's not right either, is it? No, it's not. Now I've got a removal action that's wrong as far as what happened, and it's wrong as far as the contractual provisions that are cited. We didn't catch that either. Folks, look, we're trying to save people's livelihoods, and I don't care what in the fuck they've done. I don't care what they've done. We have got to fight our asses off for them, right? We're lions doing lion-type shit. That's what we are. We're lions doing lion-type shit. That way when we get into arbitration, we are lions. I'll tell you, JB is a fucking lion in arbitration because he catches all these things, and I let him roar. And I let him roam around and devour everything in there, when he's witnessing for me. I mean, he is a fucking lion, and his contentions are lion-type shit. But these things we cannot miss. These are devastating things. When you get disciplined, write down names and dates. I'll tell you all that, man. I'm not bullshitting. Dates and names and concurrence and issuing. Are they over here involved with this? Read the request for action. Does that make sense? Read the notice of removal. Does that make sense? Am I able to even be removed for the shit they're talking about? We've got to make these contentions if you want to be fucking lions doing lion-type shit. Okay? So, that's that. Now let's get to what I was going to talk about. Oh, shit. I'm over an hour. But, there's some good sites for you. That one on procedural due process advocates, if you haven't heard of that one, that's a great one. I use it all the time. Again, that's Zuma, ZUMAS, C10679. 10679, okay? And my favorite of all time, besides the Cohen, is the Renfro, right? 01030. 01030, and that's the one that said it has been said that the real heart of procedural due process is not even a question of the employee's guilt or innocence. It is how the company goes about arriving at its decision. And that's some of the sexiest language you'll ever read, okay? All right. Let's get into fine-tuning some stuff on the joint statement and those documents that surround the joint statement and support the joint statement. Next week, we're going to publication 552. But I told you at the beginning of the year, look, management is coming after us full bore. we're going to meet the motherfuckers head on, okay? That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to meet these motherfuckers head on, and I've said that all the time. Are y'all tired of me saying lines, doing line type shit? Are y'all tired of that? I'm going to keep saying it because I like that shit. We're going to be lions doing line type shit this year, okay? Right? We're not going to be sheep like our leaders. Fuck them. Fuck them. They can be sheep somewhere else. But here on the floor, we're going to be lions doing line type shit, okay? Starts with this, all right? When you have someone in your office, a supervisor, postmaster, manager, that has been an asshole, a bully, and they continue to do that, and we've grieved it before. We're going to fine-tune some things, okay? I gave you the JSOV episodes, and now we're going to kind of fine-tune some stuff, maybe some things you haven't seen before or paid attention to before, all right? And that's what we're going to do. So you got some good education on the discipline, right? I think that should help you. Now we're going to get into some intricate type shit, some Navy SEAL type shit. Exploiting management's own documentation against them. We're going to use this against them in the grievance procedure when we have JSOV cases, when we go in front of arbitrators, okay? When you talk about language, this is what we're going to do right here. We're going to talk about language and what it means. We've got several documents that y'all are going to need, okay? You're going to need the joint statement on violence and behavior in the workplace. Write this down. Write this down. You're going to need the joint statement on violence and behavior in the workplace. You're going to need the ELM, section 665.24. The ELM, section 66524. Okay? And I'll talk about that. You're going to need the Postal Service policy on workplace harassment. The Postal Service policy on workplace harassment. You're going to need your district zero tolerance policy or your workplace violence zero tolerance policy. Your district, all of them are the same. You're going to need that, okay? We've also got the eastern area. So you'll have an area zero tolerance policy. Get that. And I've got two of them here, 2 area zero tolerance policies. And we're going to go over words, okay, and the importance of words. And the word we're going to go over is committed. Committed. And when you talk about committed, that means a pledge or bind to a certain course or policy. So it's a pledge or a bind to a certain course or policy, all right? So this is a pledge from who? That's what we're going to get into today. A pledge from who? To who? It's a pledge or bind to a certain course or policy, all right? So we're going to talk about pledges from the Postal Service to us, all right? We're going to talk about a pledge from the Postal Service or us, and it's going to be through the word committed, all right? So here we go. The joint statement on violence behavior in the workplace at the bottom. But let there be no mistake that we mean what we say, and we will enforce our commitment to a workplace where dignity, respect, and fairness are basic human rights, and where those who do not respect those rights are not tolerated. Remember that language. And I would tell an arbitrator, remember that language. I'll read it again. But let there be no mistake that we mean what we say, and we will enforce our commitment. There's that word, commitment, right? When I talk about committed, our commitment to a workplace where dignity, respect, and fairness are basic human rights. It's our right to have a workplace with dignity and respect and fairness. It's our right. They're committed to that right. It's right here in the joint statement. They're committed to that right to us. And where those who do not respect those rights are not tolerated. Remember that. Let's go to the ELM, section 665.24, violent and or threatening behavior. In the Employee and Labor Relations Manual, ELM, section 665.24, violent and or threatening behavior. And here's what it states. The Postal Service is committed. There's that word. The Postal Service is committed. Now, who's the Postal Service? That's management, right? To the principle that all employees have a basic right. Did y'all hear that before in the JSOV when we talked about our rights? Let me read that again. The Postal Service is committed. Now we have the JSOV talking about there's a commitment to our rights. Here we go again. The Postal Service is committed to the principle that all employees have a basic right to a safe and humane working environment. In order to ensure this right, it is the unequivocal policy of the Postal Service that there must be no tolerance of violence or threats of violence by anyone at any level of the Postal Service. Similarly, there must be no tolerance of harassment, intimidation, threats, or bullying by anyone at any level. Violation of this policy may result in disciplinary action, including removal from the Postal Service. Now, we have the joint statement on violence behavior in the workplace talking about a commitment to us from them, from the service, that we have a basic right, fairness, dignity, respect. And anybody that goes against that, they will not be tolerated. Those actions will not be tolerated, right? Now we have the Employee Labor Relations Manual, and it talks about the Postal Service is committed that we have a right to a safe and humane working environment. And twice they say, in order to ensure this right, it is the unequivocal policy of the Postal Service that there must be no tolerance. You said that in the JSOV, not going to be tolerated. Here we have no tolerance of violence. Goes on, similarly, there's be no tolerance of harassment, intimidation, or threats. So both of these forms, the JSOV and the ELM, both say what? There's a commitment to us that there will be no tolerance of these things, okay? So when we have a history of repeated violations like we did in Memphis, when we talk about there's a commitment from them to us, that there will be no tolerance of these things, why are we here today? If there is a commitment, if these things are true, and you say there's a commitment to us from y'all, that there will be no tolerance of it, why is it allowed to be tolerated here? Why is it being tolerated here? You remember when I asked the gentleman, show the arbitrator something that y'all have done independently, on your own, outside of the grievance procedure, outside of things that y'all have been mandated to do. Show the arbitrator what y'all have done. Nothing. Then what happened to y'all's commitment to us that there'll be no tolerance of these things? They are tolerated. There is no commitment. There's a clear violation of the ELM. There's a clear violation of the joint statement when we talk about those things. A commitment to us from them that there'll be no tolerance. If there's no tolerance of it, why are we here again? Why do we have case after case after case of y'all being told to cease and desist violations of 115, or nowadays comply with section 115.4? If there's going to be no tolerance of it. Here's the Postal Service policy on workplace harassment. Okay? The Postal Service's policy on workplace harassment starts out, the United States Postal Service is committed. Have y'all heard that before? Is committed to providing a work environment free of harassment based upon race, color, religion, sex, and it goes on. It goes down here. Prohibited activities. Last sentence, the first paragraph. The Postal Service is committed to providing its employees a safe, productive, and inclusive workplace and will tolerate nothing less. Have y'all heard that before? Huh? It sounds like a common theme to me. We have the joint statement on violence behavior in the workplace. We have ELM, section 665. Now we have the Postal Service policy on workplace harassment. And this is what it states again. The United States Postal Service is committed. There's that word again. Talking about a commitment from them to us. It goes down here again. The Postal Service is committed to providing its employees a safe, productive, and inclusive workplace, and what? Will tolerate nothing less. How is that possible? That we're here today, Mr. Arbitrator, with 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 cease and desist against 115.4 against the JSOV. If it says here the Postal Service is committed to providing its employees a safe, productive, and inclusive workplace and will tolerate nothing less, how is it possible? That's arguments that we're going to make, right? These are arguments that y'all are going to make in y'all's informal Step A contentions if y'all do that. In your formal Step A contentions. These are arguments that y'all are going to make. You're going to have these documents in your case file. You should have them already. And you're going to highlight these things for the arbitrator. And when you're in there as the formal Step A representative or the informal Step A representative, you're going to do a master class on the joint statement and the supporting documentation. Those documents that support the JSOV. You're going to put on a master class in front of that arbitrator on what their commitment is to us and what they will not tolerate. Yet we're here today in front of you because management in this installation has tolerated it over and over and over again. Their commitment to us means nothing because they've not done anything independently to help us. They've tolerated it far too long. Mr. Arbitrator, you're all we got. Y'all heard me last week. So that's the Postal Service's policy on workplace harassment, okay? You get that. Here's the district zero tolerance policy. This is ours, and y'all's are going to be the same. So when you get it, y'all's will be the same, okay? This is what it states. The Tennessee district is committed. There's that word again. The Tennessee district is committed to providing a safe work environment for all employees. There is zero tolerance for threats, assaults, or other acts of violence in our workplace. And you may say, well, we're not dealing with threats or assaults or violence. We have management that just, talks to us crazy. They don't threaten us. They just talk to us crazy. So does that apply? Yeah, it applies. I'm going to read down here at the bottom. So here's the top. The Tennessee district is committed. All right, so now that tells me that the Tennessee as a district, everybody is committed. So that's the district manager on down, right? Here's the bottom. Violence is not limited to fatalities or physical injuries. We recognize that any intentional words or actions which demean or provoke another can escalate and result in injury if not immediately and appropriately addressed. Threats, harassment, bullying, domestic violence, stalking, intimidation, and other forms of behavior and physical violence may, if left unchecked, result in more serious violent behavior. Supervisors, managers, and postmasters are responsible for recognizing and correcting violations of these behaviors. Now, it did not say city letter carriers, right? It says supervisors, managers, and postmasters are responsible. So there's a responsibility on their part, a commitment on their part to us. When we talk about words, pulling out words in these memos, that's what we're doing. They're committed to us. They're responsible. There's a responsibility on their part, supervisors, managers, and postmasters, for recognizing and correcting violations of any of these behaviors. Supervisors, managers, and postmasters should consult with labor relations, the inspection service, and threat assessment team for guidance on any specific situation. At all times, the primary effort will be to ensure the safety of all postal employees. At all times. Get that. Use it against them. Now here's the area zero tolerance policy, okay? And y'all have one of these. This is the southern area. And so here's what it states. Second sentence. We are committed in the effort to ensure a safe working environment for all employees. All right? Do y'all see a common theme here? Everything written by management tells us what? That they are committed to us. They're committed to us in the effort to ensure a safe working environment for all employees. That's me. That's me as a city letter carrier. I'm covered under all employees. It goes on. Threats or assaults made directly or indirectly toward any employee or postal service customer, even in jest, will not be tolerated. There's that word again. Right? Down at the bottom. Violence is not limited to physical injuries or fatalities. We recognize that any intentional words, acts, or actions meant to provoke another can escalate and result in injury if they are not immediately and appropriately addressed by management. Okay? So again, we have at the top, we're committed in the effort to ensure a safe working environment for all employees. So there's that word again, Mr. Arbitrator. You've seen it now numerous times, a commitment from them to us. Everything that I've read to you, Mr. Arbitrator, has had that word committed. There's a commitment from them to us. We told you what that meant. That's a pledge or a bind to us, to a certain course or policy, right? So there's a pledge from them to us that these things will not be tolerated. Then why are we here? If they're not tolerated, they would have been dealt with. We wouldn't have had the second case, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth. Here we are now 10 times later. Where's that commitment to us? And why is it being tolerated here in this installation? Here's the last one. Here's the southern, eastern, and western regions. Okay? So this one covers the southern, eastern, and western regions. Second sentence, we are committed in the effort to ensure a safe working environment for all employees. Sound familiar? Threats or assaults made directly or indirectly towards any employee or postal service customer, even in jest, will not be tolerated. We've heard that before. Down at the bottom, violence is not limited to physical injuries or fatalities. We recognize that any intentional words, acts, or actions meant to provoke another can escalate and result in injury if they are not immediately and appropriately addressed by management, not by the carrier, by management, right? So there's your little snippet of what we're going to be doing for the next month or so. We're going to be breaking down their documents against them. We're going to be showing you words, how we're going to use words. That may be new to some of y'all. Some of y'all may have already done that before. I don't know. But I'm here for everybody. I'm here for that one carrier in that one station that is his own steward, that has to deal with management because his business agent won't get involved, won't return his texts, won't return his calls. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. Because I want everybody on the workroom floor to be what? Lions doing lion shit. Right? I want everybody on this floor to be lions doing lion type shit. And that's what we're going to have. Right? We're going to be lions doing lion type shit on these floors. Right? Fuck everybody else. Fuck everybody else that don't agree with us or don't want to be lions. Right? I'll read this one to you one more time and I'll let you go. I'm a lion and I refuse to talk, to walk, to sleep with the sheep. I will not hear those who weep and complain, for their disease is contagious. Let them join the sheep. The slaughterhouse of failure is not my destiny. Hey, y'all. The slaughterhouse of failure is not our destiny. I'm telling you that now. We have lions rising up in this union that are going to take back over this union from the sheep. The slaughterhouse of failure that we're in right now, that we're dealing with right now, the slaughterhouse of failure because management is pummeling us at every level because we have sheep and not lions at the top. That is not our destiny, y'all. I'm telling you, lions are rising up. This ticket, y'all will see, are lions fixing to do lion type shit once again in this union. The cowardice that has crept in like a cancer and sunken its tentacles into us will soon be released. I promise you that. That's a promise from me to you, man. I will never promise you anything unless I could deliver, right? So, long episode. A lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Thought it would be pretty short. I'm just glad the damn thing's still running over here. I keep looking like it was going to be stopped, but it stopped a couple of times. I don't know if y'all could tell it or not. Maybe when I edit it, maybe I can edit it out. But anyway, next week we're going to go over publication 552 because I want y'all to be experts at that as well. And we're going to put them in the case files. Memphis, we forgot to put it in there, and the arbitrator let me put one sentence in there. But we're going to put publication 552 in the case file. We're going to go over publication 552 next week. You saw the damage that it did when we talked about the IMIP. Okay? You saw the damage that we could do with the IMIP process. That's management's thing, but if they're supposed to do it, I'm going to make sure they do it. All right? So next week, publication 552. Probably have some other stuff to you as well. Maybe some audio. Some funny audio from a rap session. We might play that for you. It's pretty funny. But all right, there you have it. A little bit of training on some discipline, what we need to be doing. Let's do better, okay? Even though those formal Step A's were incredible, they really did a great job, man. That was really encouraging, some great stuff. Just missed a few major arguments right there, big-time arguments. And then committed. They're committed to us that there'll be no tolerance of these things, and we're not going to let them slide, okay? All right. Hey, I love each and every one of y'all, man. I love each and every one of y'all. And I want y'all to be lions. And when we're going to start doing some lion-type shit, okay? Even those people that don't like me, I love you. And I'm going to fight for you. And I will devour anything that tries to hurt you, even those that call me noble. If shit goes down, I'm going to devour some shit for y'all, man. I don't give a fuck. And so I love each and every one of you with everything in me. I do. And I just want you to be lions. All right. I'll talk to y'all next Sunday. Okay. Bye.